Sambonani. Welcome to our very first show of the Presidential Seconds that is placed in Alex Safe Hub. Today we're going to be discussing about how we can provide interventions through debating competition, and we also have our participants all together with the judges. Stating on the topic of the Presidential Seconds is that how we can actually instill and providing more information on how it is to be debated and how it is relatively amongst the educational system and the political side. So we do have our participants, the yes participants, and also the opposing participants. We also gather with our audience as well and our judges. Welcome. Sheila.
Thank you, Denzel. So welcome everyone. So on this show, we're basically focusing on the young and influential young people in our community. And they'll be tackling issues such as education, gender equality, education, arts and culture, agriculture as well. A lot of different topics that we will be discussing throughout, not today, but throughout the other episodes of the show. So we do have ground rules. Every household in Mteto Yayo. So the first participants that are going to begin this debate are going to be given 60 seconds each. That's the whole point. It's called Presidential Second. So they'll be given 60 seconds each to give their opening statements. Then they'll be given another 60 seconds each to give us their findings and solutions to the problem, right? Then they will battle it out. So without further ado, let us introduce our participants and our judges. But I'll start with our yes team. Please introduce yourselves and what do you do?
Sanibonani Makaya, Sanibonani Yakumpena, Kamala Mundlandla, and I'm an activist based in Alexandra.
Thank you, Tanda.
Well, my name is Warren Kadeve, and I'm the Programs and Hubs Coordinator with Visa Holdings, Patch of Township Flavor for SME Development, and Visa Babile for Social Development, and Partner to Safe Hub. It is good to be here.
Thank you. I'll send you a whole package.
Good evening, my name is Kunvela Maringa, currently unemployed.
Lovely.
Dumelang bakgetho o buang ke Tshegofatso Lawrence Thibondi Dlambung Mapelo, an LLB graduate and also an operation officer with Tutuzela A Community Center and also a justice advocate.
Thank you. Lovely. So now we're going to meet our judges who are going to be observing from grammar, presentation, facts, all rounders. Please, and it's a ladies' panel. So please, ladies, introduce yourselves.
My name is Lucy. I'm a freelance model as well as a business lady.
Sambonani Makaya, my name is Amanda Mabaso. I'm the founder of Alex Foundation, and I'm assistant of the construction company. And yeah, let's see what you guys have for us today.
Evening, Dumelani Sanibonani, Ketsolofelo Siamela. I'm in the education space, on the parent side of things. I am a graduate, I'm in business administration, have a diploma in law, and also I am into politics, but of course passing on constitutional rights. Currently in the mining industry as well. So thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, judges. As you heard, we have a whole rounder. Different people, different careers, different, everything. So without further ado, can Denzel please give us a topic?
Okay, everyone. So today we do have our topic, and it stated that should the youth of South Africa be involved in the participation of political system and economical development in our country's recovery? Should I repeat the question?
Repeat the question, yes.
Should the youth of South Africa be involved with the participation of building the country's economic recovery?
Good.
Okay. So we have our yes team on the side. They will start.
So yes, the youth of South Africa should participate in policies and economic development. So our side will talk about economic participation and mental health. So I'd like to touch based on participation. Young people are the ones that should contribute in the 2030 vision of South Africa, because we are the future of tomorrow, and we are the one that must voice out our frustrations. That's why you see young people on the streets looting and the uprising of the South Africa. But cancellation. Cancel. BTS. Okay. Yes, the youth of South Africa should partake in the participation of economic development and the legislation.
You can read, also, you can read.
Should the youth of South Africa be involved in the formation of policies that will aid in the country's economic recovery? Again, should the youth of South Africa be involved in the formation of policies that will aid in the country's economic recovery? Yes. Yes, the youth of South Africa should partake in the formation of policies in our country, because we are the future leaders of South Africa, and because we are the ones who must voice out our frustrations with the legislations that oppress us as young people, the corruption that is taking place in our country, and we must challenge the oppressions that we face as young people. So me and my partner will be talking about economic participation and mental health. Thank you.
All right, our point is trying to address a problem in the community, which is mental health, that is a result of a direct involvement of young people to drugs, crime, violence. It's a solution-based requirement that young people must participate in the formulation of policy, because it will solve those problems. Why legislation? These are rules and laws that govern and manage our country so that we can live in peace. Young people, about 37% in the country, are in crisis, unemployment issues and economic issues, but the most important, mental health issues. How are we then designing and creating responsible citizens of this country that would lead, if one, they are not participating in formulation of policy that is provided by Section 8 of the Constitution, that the National Youth Development Policy and legislation and these organizations such as Omsobomvu and more organizations that would actually provide the solution are not doing anything, because one, young people are despondent in participation to formulation of policies. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Ms. Zola Wabugeli. So they've stated their viewpoints about the yes answers. So we're going to go to our opposing team. Can you please start?
Okay, as a team, we do not entirely crash the idea. But what we are actually stating is that there needs to be a preparation. We have saw in a million times that a lot of these institutions have failed. Omsobomvu, as mentioned by Mapani. Was it policies relevant to the young people of South Africa? Have we looked at grooming the young people of South Africa so that they are also ready to take over when the time comes? I actually like what my colleague here mentioned, that the National Youth Policy Draft, it actually states from 2020 to 2030. Do we have enough time to prepare young people to also be able to take part in the economic development? Secondly, we have not yet reconstructed our education to also be fitting to the economical development. We have a current education system that is training our young people to be employees rather than innovators, rather than entrepreneurs. How do you actually take a person who's clueless about economic development and allow them to head up economic development? Thank you.
Okay, as my first speaker said, we do agree with the topic to some extent. But then, like as he said, as a youth of South Africa, we lack financial and economic education, or we do not have a solid educational background to help entrepreneurs, which is currently what is happening right now. As my partner has said, our educational system is only making employees out of the youth and not entrepreneurs of tomorrow. Number two, we have had failed youth institutions such as the ANC Youth League, such as courses, such as the NYDA, as the other person has mentioned, the speaker from the no side. But then these institutions haven't. Can we start off? Okay, these institutions have proven time and time again that they are not helping the youth in becoming proper entrepreneurs. Even if the youth are given a chance to open businesses and own those businesses do not survive over 5 years, which is the problem that we're having right now. What we're simply saying is that we should have a good educational background so that this youth or young people can become better leaders and better entrepreneurs tomorrow. So the one thing we have to look for, our educational system. It's failing us. Okay. Number three, the last one.
Thank you so much. Really, as you can see, that it's very heated right now. So we do have our participants. They actually have stated their viewpoints with everything. Okay, so now we're going to get to the judge's side. What do you think of this?
As their opening statements, any comments?
Yeah, really quite interesting. It's really quite interesting, and we literally came to a point where we get to understand all of their own perspective and how they just think about a whole lot of things. Because like a whole lot more are just thinking out of the box. So yeah, gashism.
Alright, no problem. So I'm not gonna go into all the judges as yet because right now we are going to give them another so we're gonna give them another 60 seconds each, starting with the opposing team. So you give us your findings and you give us solutions to the problem, since you're opposing that our youth should not be involved in policy making. So, gentlemen, 60 seconds each.
Esteemed presenter, as I said, I am not entirely saying no. But as I am saying, one thing that I'm saying, we already have the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. I am saying there should be consultations, and it's also guided by the Constitution of the country. We need to come up with formalities and also institutions that will also engage young people on preparing them to be able to partake in economic development. We have seen also in the informal sector with the gas economy, how many of our young business people have failed because there is no economic mentality. Our politics right now is in tatters because we have taken stone throwers and made them presidents. We have taken tire burners and made them MECs and ministers. People who were not equipped and had no transition plan in dealing with this. We will keep repeating the same mistake over and over. When are we going to give people who are just recovering from drugs, who are recovering from unemployment, who are recovering from depression, and also saying we need you to formulate the economic development of this country? We are heading for nothing but a total failure unless we are going into proper preparation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it was about a month back when the Department of Education actually released the finding that the grade 3s and grade 4s were illiterate. Some of them were illiterate. So that's the problem that we have recently in South Africa, that we've got a youth that is illiterate. Not only are they illiterate, but then financial illiteracy is not there for us. Mostly the athletes, which is something else. But then, if our school curriculums can accommodate or instill a culture of entrepreneurship, economics in our schools, then we can see a difference. Then we can see a difference in our youth going forward. Yeah, I think that is it. Our current educational system, the curriculum, is really not helping the youth. I think we should maybe branch out, go out to other countries like China, India, see how the curriculums work. Because economically, they seem to be working fine. So I think that is it. Education.
Thank you so much for those valid points, of which is true. We can see that in other countries, definitely their education systems, they are working for them, and we might need to adopt a various of them, right?
Yes.
So now we're going to give our yes team that agrees with the topic that our youth should be involved in the policy making. So you're going to get 60 seconds each. You may start now.
All right, we believe that truly young people are ready to participate. The preparation and grooming is nonetheless wrong because direct experience is already a practical sense to participate. Wake up and smell the coffee. You have to participate in order to change the now sense. Practical sense is an involvement of this topic. Your idea is a reminder of apartheid time when young people in 1976 were denied the right to participate in legislation. What happened? Violence. This is the violence of young people looting. This is the violence of young people in crime. This is the violence of young people taking law into their own hands. We believe in South Africa that if not now, then when? Because we are repeating the same mistake of the pre-democracy of South Africa. In illiteracy problem that you're talking about, it is a result of young people not talking or voicing their issues of what is happening in the education system of South Africa. Because of this adultism, the African National Congress is propagating and oppressing young people on this. In more than 20 years of democracy, we're in the right time to do this and have young people to be part of the policy making process. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers.
Only 2% of young people are serving in parliament. That should tell you something. We have people in parliament that are way past their retirement age, and yet you expect those people to make decisions for young people. And the young people are the ones that are the future of our country. So why should they not given the platform and the power to make changes in the policies? And also, we look at the legislation of South Africa. Is it allowing, is it giving young people to voice out? And we see even with the requirements for jobs. That's why even one of our debaters is saying that they're unemployed. Why? Because there are really unrealistic requirements for jobs. You would get a young person who is freshly out of university and needed to have 15 years of experience. Like, that should say something. So young people are the ones to be at the forefront because it's economic freedom or nothing for young people. We see young people that are now taking the baton.
Sorry about that.
Woo!
Yes, you did.
The girl is on
You're
fire,
fire.
and this should tell you something. She's the only one. But anyway, so yeah, hey, you said a handful, guys. Yeah, you made valid points, both teams. So now we're gonna cross over to our debate. Put the money. Again, point on point. So you may let's start with the list. Attack.
We're supposed to be close.
Yeah,
We're supposed to be close.
so you've attacked.
Yes. So who starts? Us.
Use the,
It's us.
We use that.
Start that.
okay, what is it now?
That
Now
means-
you're closing.
You're closing.
You're closing. You're closing the exit.
Okay. As I've said, that only 2.6% of young people are in parliament. That should tell you something as South Africa, a country that is one of part of the BRICS Institute. Why is it that young people shouldn't be at the forefront and the decision makers of our country when they are the future leaders of South Africa? We see that our unemployment rate is skyrocketing. Why? Because young people are not given the opportunity because of unrealistic requirements of jobs. When they say they want 15 years experience for someone who is 20 years, that should tell you something. So as I'm saying that young people should be at the forefront. We see even with the late Tembeni Mamnani, who took on the baton and fought for freedom and fought and voiced out for young people. We see that even young people are proving themselves in the portfolios that they are serving in parliament. So yes, young people should be the decision makers and they should be influencing legislations because these legislations are the ones that either consequences or the benefits of them that they will be enjoying in the next years coming.
Thank you, Delta, for that closing argument. I hope your personal issues and same.
All right, according to the World Youth Report, it indicates that, young people in South Africa are ready for this. There are institutions and structures that are set in South Africa, youth organizations and policies set in South Africa. The only thing that we have to do as a country is minimal. There is money, there are people, there are human resource, there are leaders. One is the mentality of this idea that young people are senseless to speak. we must give them a right to voice up. And at the end of the day, we are, as a country, then acting against corruption, acting against crime, giving this country a future of leaders that start now to practice leadership from their homes, in the community, national, provincial, in any state of mind, within schools, everywhere, to be able to become leaders of tomorrow. If you do not create leaders of tomorrow right now with the matter of legislation and policies, what kind of leaders are we breeding if we're going to listen to these people who are telling us to wait? There's no time to wait. Let's have young people participate. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, let me thank my learned colleague here for agreeing with me. But also they have failed to state as the opening side on timeframes. They have failed to state on definitions. So they have left this open, and I thank you so much for agreeing with us. Secondly, they have failed when they made their quotations to give us their proper forces. Therefore, lack of evidence cannot substantiate anything that they say, and therefore I implore the judges to consider such an information inadmissible. Secondly, what my learned colleague also here stated, he said we need to prepare the future. Furthermore, concurring with me that our youth are not yet ready, but they need to go through a proper preparation site. He has also mentioned the ANC. And this is how the ANC worked. We had the ANC Youth League, and COSAS, which were all members of the same common fight that they were fighting. So in such, skills were transferred from the elders to the youth and also to the learners. Hence, we were also able to fight against the apartheid government, and we got the minimal freedom that we've got, and we still have got a way to go. Thank you.
Okay, I might sound, I don't get ignorant that the statement that I'm about to make, but then our youth is irresponsible. We are a youth that cares more about partying, fashion, and social media more than anything else. So how are we going to become great leaders of tomorrow or be involved in policy making if these are the only things that we care about? Number two, I've had the pleasure of going to them, and what I found out about the school system is that they've got agriculture in their curriculum. They teach their children how to make cell phones, how to repair cell phones. Do we have certain things like that in Mzansi right now? So that tomorrow we can have more entrepreneurs, we can have more manufacturing, and economically we can recover. Yeah, and then you said something about mental illness. I think that such things will reduce things like mental illness, drug use, and other things. That's my point.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Spence. And Ms. Zwele, abantu wasekhaya would like on the show that things are getting heated once more, right? So we're going to hand it over to the judges to have a proper discussion about the overall mark that has to be announced to us all. And again, we're going to be engaging with the audience on how they think of this debate. Thank you. Over to you, judges. Discussion, please.
So while they're busy discussing on what's our panel here, debaters, let's ask our audience, what do they have to say with regards to the topic? Do they agree or do they disagree? Please introduce yourself and what you do, and tell us whether do you agree with the topic or you don't agree.
Hi, my name is Dikuro Mizwa. I work for ADNET as a community activator. Had you asked me this question when I got here, I would say I agree. I'm now in between. No, I'm still weighing up my options. Yeah.
And on my side, what I'm going to say is I do agree with both. Because of life is a communication between the past and the future. When we talk about the other people, we talk about people from the past and also our people. So there must be this action between to create a successful future. So I think the suggestion is giving us substantial evidence, which is quite true. So even we don't have the emergency possibility. And I think we should actually come up with ways on how to engage our leaders also with young people so that they come with intervention. Like right now we're creating the platform, it's for us to actually think our own opinions and with us to contribute towards the future of our country. So with what we are doing right now, we're giving solutions to those people who are always
Thank you for that.
Okay, I agree with the opportunity because especially with what what he said about the being married. Typical example, right now there is a debate about if they should be represented and they're not sure. But when I started going to vote for next year's elections, it's less than 50%. So I just feel like, yes, we should be represented in the parliament, but it's us that are supposed to be spearheading this. But where are we? Where are we?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you've heard the opinions, right? So Denzel, what's your opinion, my co-host?
Judy, you want to
Well, with my own opinion, I do agree with the opposing team, right? Because I feel like with how the youth are structured nowadays, I wouldn't say put the word of being laziness and whatsoever, but it's because of how we actually had our upbringings before and how we are going in the future. But then, are we ready for the future if we actually acting like this? So I do agree with the opposing team, honestly, I should say.
Hey, judges, have you made your decision? Have you talked about it? Have you opinions, please?
No, we have. I think also this goes back to what principles and morals that govern us in leadership also. And we know that the knowledge we get in school, education, is contextual, right? So it takes us back to what policies or what do we stand on as a country. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was quite impressed. But yeah.
True. I have to give it to both teams. They've highlighted critical issues and also there are loopholes. Remember, guys, preparation is key. When you leave loopholes, you will be attacked and you will be defeated. But nonetheless, it's critical issues on both sides. If you want a decision, now we have to pick sides, not how. I'd say the no team begged it. And solely because of the yes team had a leeway for the no team to come up with bullets, gun blazing. So there was a short sight from your end. You came up with valid points. All you needed was that you need to substantiate. You needed to give example, and you needed to just close it off. Tighten and bolt it. But when you leave that small hole, the enemy comes gushing, and your whole structure collapses.
Alright.
So with the no team, indeed, yes, the youth are not ready. You speak about training them. We've been preaching training. When is the time? Do we even have the time? Are the youth ready? The youth nowadays are fixated with what they see from their leaders. Their leaders, they're projecting a life of again. And that's what we are seeing, and that's where our youth are steered. So now, mental issues are solely because of the peer pressure that I've seen a newbie and I want it, but I'm going to get it in other means that are not legal. So now, it delays the youth. We're taking, again, 10 steps back. So we're not progressing. We're leaving this chunk that the pensioners have to make decisions for us because we've proven that we are not old enough to make decisions and stuff.
Thank you so much, judges. So Nizwele, the no team, the opposing team, is our champion for this episode.
Now, I would say before we close this, eventually, because I remember for the beginning, you guys wanted to do this.
Yes.
So, stop this thing. What is your views?
Yes.
That would be interesting. That would
Yeah,
be
so
interesting.
let's
Because
do
if
that.
you're prepared, you should do both.
Yes. So the yes team is now the no
Okay.
team, and the no team is now the yes team. Quick, 60 seconds each.
Okay, for me,
They prepared.
Let them boost switch around.
okay, for me, as I prepared for the years, but there were just a few issues that I actually wanted to touch on. And besides the debate, I actually do agree that young people are ready to participate. When we say participate, as I said, the opposition team failed actually to set definitions. They failed to give us a time frame. They also failed to identify what does participate mean. Participation does not mean leadership, but it means that their opinions and their voices have to be heard. Their experiences have to be heard. Their past business experiences have to be heard. I mean, we have a lot of people who are in the entrepreneurship, young people in the entrepreneur space. We have WeSit Founders, which was founded by a young person. Delivery Speed, it was founded by a young person. We've got the EFF, for an example, which I could say, guessing 80% of their leadership are young people. And to be quite honest, a lot of people started gaining interest on politics after the introduction of the EFF, which was led by young people. So it means that actually the majority of young people who are willing to lead are ready to be prepared. They are ready to be taught. They are ready to try new things. And as I said, the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities is also willing to engage on people and say, how do we formulate policies so that young people can participate and not lead? Thank you.
Thank you. You are prepared for it.
See, my whole thing was, the way we went into debate, I don't know how we structured it was to say, yeah, but then we are not ready. That was my whole plan, to say, yeah, at some point, but then we are not ready. Okay, I wanted to make an example of the youth from 1976. See, most of them were inspired and were members of the Black consciousness, meaning they were taught history that was not on the curriculum. They were taught books that were banned by the apartheid era and whatnot. So these people went into the struggle knowing exactly what they were fighting for, exactly what was going on. And it's not only about leadership, because the Black consciousness embodied everything about a person. So that was my whole idea that, yeah, we need to get there, but then we need, institutions such as the Black consciousness, something that we can introduce for us as the youth to become economically viable and become ready for, because, okay, Sisi made a very good example. That's meaning that if I'm going to do anything else, I have to look at my elders first. Since we will something about politicians, yeah, how corrupt they are and how. So I feel what we are going to step in, we are going the same step, we are going to do the same things if we do not come up with other initiatives that will empower the youths without us looking at financial gains for individual people, but then for the whole nation itself.
Thank you.
Sure.
Noted. We actually saw it. You also want us to bring Yeah. He's ready to attack again, but they are agreeing at some point. So, all right, we've come to the first presidential second end show. Yeah, there's many more to come, so keep watching, being on the lookout. They're still going to talk about so much more. You can even hit us up if you want topics that you want us to discuss. Follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We are there. And yeah, let's engage.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming, for
No, but
visiting us.
You've given them
Thank you
chance.
for the participation with the
How?
We move on.
Yes. All right.
Let's
So
say
I wanted to contribute and say the hour of debate is a reality check, right? I'm a realist when I debate in this manner. If I say no, I would say no because it's not actually preparation of youth. It's the fact our government institutions are infested with so much adulterism nonsense from the African National Congress, corruption, zombifying our young people not to even believe they've got potential to participate. In the meantime, what they're saying that there is leadership such as EFF, there's leadership of organizations, activism, there's institutions like SafeUp that exist. Money is going around in South Africa, billions that support institutions, organizations to support young people. The only problem is to clean the government structure. That is the institution that has to be prepared to provide platforms for young people, use the policies that exist, use the institutions that exist, use the organizations that exist, use the education system. Life skills is done escalating because of It introduces young people to different aspects of topics such as political, social, and economic context and matters. It is there. The only thing that has to be done is to clean these old women and men that think they can represent, because Anadamini Zuma, the minister, thinks can represent my voice, our issues. Hence, we are frustrated. Mental health issues, we are looting the state. We are fighting Slitamatraks, we are bored because they don't want to give us an opportunity to voice ourselves. You are killing the crowd. You're killing the crowd. Finished.
Hey!
And I'd still say yes. I'd still say yes because I believe in youth. There are young people like myself. Today, I was told before that I'm supposed to be here. I could have been anywhere else. I could have been vibes on the main, Shaisa Vane Bandag. But then I'm here, I'm participating. Why? Because I want my voice to be heard. So yes, there are young people that are capable of taking the baton, and there are young people that are capable to voice out and be the change of South Africa. Not all young people are on the streets and Badamatrats. Some young people are fighting and taking their part in changing the narrative of Alexander. Since Silana, there are young people in Alex that are trying by all means to retell the story, to change the narrative of our society. We have so I'd still say yes.
Okay, so we've heard all-rounder, right? So they're basically saying, yes, there are youth that can take the baton, they can work on it. They are here, literally, right? And they are working on changing and getting their voices heard. There are also young people in the streets out there living life, not interested in what happens with the system, right? We all have different opinions, but as an individual, you need to ask yourself, what do I want in my own country? Do I want to see change, or am I comfortable in the situation that I'm in? And if I want to see change, what am I doing to make that change happen? Because we cannot be sending the same people to give us change, and they are failing to give us that change. But you want change. So huma uzenzele, uzenzelwa ubani. Money doesn't follow trees, education doesn't follow trees. You go to school and you learn. The same applies with our constitution, our policies. They need the young people to stand up and fight. But at the same time, our elders, they've got us, they've lived life. So there are different opinions la, as me. So this is a topic for you to think about, and to think about what do you want to see happen in SA. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and well done. Thank you. Because they're not true.
Testing.